Hi everyone and welcome to Season 10, Episode 4 of From Hope to Glory at Truro City with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So, things have been going fantastically well, although recent form has been a little bit mixed. We have to make sure that we regain a bit of momentum today and win a game against Coventry City today in the Championship. They sit 13th. Is that going to be unlucky for them or for us? Let's find out. Welcome back to Truro City. So yes, as I say, things are going remarkably well still. You can see that we're sitting second in the table behind Leeds United at the top, but only by a couple of points. But we do have a whole host of clubs, Fulham, Bristol City, Blackburn Rovers, Aston Villa, Birmingham, all sitting just behind us, ready to pounce if we can't quite find some good form. Today we play 13th place Coventry, as I said in the introduction. So before we do that, let's go and check in with our slightly inconsistent form. It hasn't been fantastic, but obviously we're still sitting well above where we might have expected to at this point in the season. So ultimately, it's going okay. So you can see that it's basically been a bit of a tale of two halves in the last month or so of football. That first initial few games, we got on a really good run. 4 games in a row. We were scoring quite a few goals. Everything was looking great. And then it just came slightly unstuck. We got a draw against Bristol City, which kind of halted the momentum a little bit. And then the loss against Barnsley and Fulham, sandwiched in there as a win against Reading, just meant that it's been a little bit off form. And we do need to try and find a way to get back onto it today if we possibly can. Fulham, in the last game, absolutely mauled us, to be honest. 3-0. It was at home as well for us, so it was a very, very poor performance. Just happens occasionally. At this particular level, we're still quite inconsistent, I would suggest. And so, yeah, ultimately, Fulham really took advantage of that. We need to get back to the winning ways today against Coventry City. It should be a better game for us, though. Coventry sitting in mid-table, so hopefully we can take advantage of that, but we are away from home. But as I say, a few zero score lines in terms of not getting the goals quite recently. Our strikers have dried up a little bit. We're not being as creative. We do have 1 or 2 injury issues today and a suspension, so we're not quite at full strength. But ultimately, it's still about grinding out some of these wins. So let's see if we can do that today. So there's a couple of things that immediately spring to mind as we come onto the tactic page for today's pre-match tactics. There's a couple of things to really focus on. And the first is, ultimately, all of the lines have gone from our side. And that's because we've had to bring in a couple of new players here and there because of a few injuries. So the likes of Finlayson is playing alongside Reddy in central defence. McCann is out today, so that changes that dynamic there. We've still got a bit of an issue in midfield with Kane coming into the club this season, not quite matching up with the others so far. And also Thompson is back from a bit of an injury spell, so he's now playing again in that attacking midfield role. So those 3 haven't quite figured it out yet. And similarly down the left-hand side, Fenn coming into the club fairly recently means that particular relationship with Poco is not quite up to standard as well. So the lines aren't quite there in terms of familiarity. As I say, we've had a few injuries. Sarula is out injured for the next 11 days or so as one of our left fullback options. Adeniran is suspended for today's match. He's picked up too many yellow cards. And then we've got a couple of minor injuries that I'm just protecting us from a little bit in McCann in central defence and a rotating striker option in McJanet. So those are the changes that we've had to make. Everybody else is pretty much fit and healthy and ready to go. So I've been able to sort of pretty much choose the squad that I want to from the rest of the players. So for today's match against Coventry in the Championship, we've gone with Mbayo in goal, Fink at right back, Fenn at left back, Reddy and Finlayson in central defence, Kane, Williams and Thompson in central midfield, Ibrahim on the right, Opoku on the left and Abu Bakar up top, with a bench of Archer, Clark, Barry, White, Wright, Phillips, Sarmiento and Battersby. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So because of the recent form, it was time to pump the fists a little bit and give them a real bit of a gung-ho kind of mentality of this great opportunity to go out there and prove those pundits are right to back you, put the onus on them to get a positive result here, away from home, but against the side that are sitting in mid-table, but are above us in the form guide. So it is a little bit of a random one today. We'll have to see how we get on. I think they're in about 6th position in the form guide, whilst we've dropped down to about 13th recently after those recent losses that we've had and that one draw. So ultimately, we have to do better. Fink with a long throw down that right-hand side. Doesn't quite get it to where he wants it to be, but gets it back again for a cross. And that was a decent glancing header from Ibrahim, cutting across the defender, but couldn't quite get it on target. And it does go narrowly wide of the goal. But an early sighter for us. And just after sort of coming up to the 20-minute mark, we're doing okay. But potentially here is a chance for us to build up a proper attack and get a decent strike at goal. Abu Bakr coming, dropping deep, getting involved in the play. Fen almost loses out, but doesn't. And he does get involved in the play. Abu Bakr finds himself back centrally at the top of the penalty box. They feed the ball into him, and he absolutely blasts it into the top of the net, which is fantastic. Fen rides the challenge there, got a little bit lucky. Some good one-touch football, and then Abu Bakr steadies himself and powers it home. What a fantastic strike that is. He's been a little bit hit and miss this season, but a lot better this season than he was last season in terms of goal scoring consistency. I think that's about his 8th in 15 or something like that in the league. Something like that anyway, but ultimately, he's done pretty well for us. We have to defend a corner kick here, though. Ibrahim gets the final header out, and Abu Bakr takes it out wide to hold up the play. Fink just about controls a very, very speedy pass towards him, and we've worked the ball very nicely again. Kane had a shot on the edge of the box, but it was blocked by a defender. We've still maintained possession. Opoku down the left-hand side, and he absolutely thumps it into the back of the net as well. Took me by surprise. I thought he was going to drop in a little cross, a pull-back cross to one of the oncoming players, but he didn't. It caught the goalkeeper by surprise as well. He jinks past the defender here, gets very wide out on this left-hand side of the penalty box, and then just smashes it into the far corner of the net. A really lovely strike. 2 really, really good goals have really taken us to the peak of something positive on this particular match. But there's a long way to go. We've got 5 minutes to go till half-time, so another 45 minutes to play. But so far, so good. And we have been fairly dominant in a lot of the statistics for the match. Higher percentage, higher scoring chances, a decent XG rating. And ultimately, we've got a 2-0 lead from it. From an XG rating of 0.67, that is some good scoring boots that we've got on today. So let's see if we can continue. We'll go into the dressing room. And we just have to encourage, really, at this point. Outstretched arms, I think we'll go with. I'm delighted with the way you're playing. Keep it up. We need to get the positivity, the morale back into this group of players that might have just dipped in the last couple of games. So it's important as much as is possible to remain in that sort of positive mentality as much as we can. Fink on the ball with another throw-in. We almost lose possession again, but Fen will pick it up on that far side. But then he does lose possession, and it's a chance to counter-attack for Coventry. And they've done it very well. Salmon threw on goal, and he puts it narrowly wide. The goalkeeper came out to close the angle down, and the striker couldn't quite find his angles properly. And we almost get another goal ourselves down the other end of the pitch. I think it was Ibrahim eventually that booted the ball, unfortunately, over the top of the bar. But we worked another very, very good chance down that far side to get it into the box. Abu Bakr was under the original header, I think. And then Ibrahim booted it over the top, as I say. Whilst we're in a little bit of a free spot, remember I'm now on twitch.tv/the United City FM every weekday. From 3 o'clock till 5 o'clock UK time mostly. Sometimes I go a bit earlier, sometimes it runs a little later, but mostly it's those times. So come and find me over there. Come and say hi. We're doing AC Milan over there at the moment. But with the Truro City side here, today we are playing pretty well. There's some nice football going on. We're keeping the ball relatively well as we lose it, as I just said, but we win it back again. And just about hold on to it with Fen down the left-hand side. But yeah, some of our build-up play has been very good. Some killer balls and a good couple of chances at goal. And on that occasion, again, the goalkeeper came to the rescue for Coventry. But we are really pushing with a corner kick down that far side. They do get it cleared on this occasion, but we're going to win the loose ball again. Not too bad. 68 minutes gone, so we've still got 20 minutes plus a little bit for us to potentially find another way through to goal. And Abu Bakr again drops in to get involved with the play, then moves back into his striking position. Ibrahim on the right-hand side, chance for a cross. He let it run a little bit and lost control of the ball, and eventually they do get it clear themselves, and they have countered-attacked right down that far side pretty well into the box. What on earth has gone on here? Please don't send him off. Kane is being called over. I don't think he got another booking, but we might have to protect him a little bit from that. 70 minutes just coming up, and they have got a goal back on us. And it was our own fault again for doing it to ourselves. Sometimes this happens. We create our own downfall a little bit too often for my liking. We are going to pause the game there, though. With 20 minutes left, we're going to go and make a couple of substitutions, and it has to be these yellow cards that we take out just to protect ourselves. So what we're going to have to do on this occasion is we're going to bring Daniel Barry in, but we'll switch him and Williams round. They can play the opposite positions slightly better. And Thompson's also got a yellow card, so we'll bring White back into the lineup just to protect him from that. We've got some slight issues in terms of performance down in our defensive area, but we've already replaced our central defender, and our left fullback option isn't on the bench today. So I think we're basically going to leave that as we are, and maybe we'll change out Ibrahim instead and put Wright Phillips with a little bit of experience down that right-hand side, maybe a little bit of guile to help us down that right-hand side just a bit. But that was I don't know, was that a deliberate pass back because of the way that the ball went out of the pitch? I hope so, because if it wasn't, it was the most awful throw-in I've ever seen in my life. But it is, again, Coventry that come with a chance. And again, they almost make us pay for our own sloppy defensive work. And the goalkeeper eventually parries it out again for a corner kick. But we are not covering ourselves in glory with our defensive area, are we? And that's partly because we've had to make a couple of changes. But even so, we should be doing better than we have been. Opoku with a corner kick for us. And again, they get a counter-attack opportunity. And again, they're very dynamic. And again, they absolutely make us pay. And they've come back from 2-0 down with 10 minutes to go to equalise at 2-2. And we're going to have to pause the game. We'll watch this again. And it's all off that counter-attack. We were not on the ball. We had a couple of guys back, but one-on-one, they did not match up very well to the Coventry strikers. And again, Salmon gets through on goal and buries it into that top of the net. So we're going to have to come out of the game and go back into the tactics page and do something about this. It's not been good enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to shift it up a little bit. We're going to put White up front alongside Abu Bakr. And instead of the tiki-taka, the vertical tiki-taka, we're going to go route one. Very attacking, though. We're going to go all out to see if we can win this game. We've got nothing to lose now, really. We've dropped a couple of points. We have to go and find a way to try and get back into this match. So actually, we're not going to go the route one. I've changed my mind. We're going to go wing play instead and get it out to our wide men and see if we can get the ball into the box from the wide areas. So we'll put Fink on as an attacking fullback on one side, and the same with Fenn down the other. So we're much more attacking. And we'll just see if we can get something from this game. I didn't realise these two were both playing as the deep line playmaker. So we'll shift him up and put him as the Metzala on attack, just to give him something slightly different to do. That was my error. But let's see how we get on with this one. So we've got a deep lying forward in White now, who's more of an attacking midfielder, but we can just put him slightly deep in that attacking role, hopefully. One chance would be good, really, in this 10-minute period. We've got to really find a way to push through. So we'll fire them up for the last few minutes, see if we can get something. Here we go with a chance for Opoku to deliver the ball in. And again, they clear it. But this time we've got 3 back, and we claim the ball very nicely back to Opoku. And we lose out again. And this is the chance to counter-attack. Can we win the ball? We do. It goes into a no-man's land area, and Fink will retain it. but we give it straight back. That is a really very, very poor ball from our central defender. And Coventry came back and had another go at goal for us, against us, should I say. And that was really poor play. And again, we've given it away off a throw-in. We are absolutely doing ourselves in here. We were comfortably 2-0 up, and it feels like it's been really sloppy and not very concentrated. And again, Coventry win it in midfield. And again, they reach the top of the box. And again, they have a strike at goal. This time, again, the goalkeeper claims the ball. I think we might just have to be a little bit settled for a draw at this point, because if the game had gone any further for another 5 minutes, we may well have lost it. It was a very, very poor second half display, and we are going to have to tell them that in the team talk afterwards. You can see eventually Coventry came really, really far back into this game. They got a bundle of shots against us, a very good XG rating. They were very good for their 2 goals. We struggled in that second half very much so. Had a little bit more possession, but didn't do anything with it other than really kind of just give it away. Very, very unhappy. So we're going to go into the dressing room and tell them so. Thrash the arms about the performances. Show me there's a lot of work to do. Therefore, you're in training tomorrow. We have to find a way to get this group of players to concentrate better and focus on their commitment to seeing out matches. And if it means bringing them back in for training on their day off, etc., then that's what we're going to do. Not impressed. 2-2 still gives us a point. It still keeps us moving in a good direction. But ultimately, having been 2-0 up, that is definitely 2 points dropped. So fortunately, it hasn't done us too much damage. We did gain a point on a couple of our rivals specifically below us. We've lost a couple of points to Leeds ahead of us, but none of the teams below us who were in touching distance of us made it count at all, and we still sit in second position. They pretty much all did the similar sort of results. So that's been fairly good for us at a point where we should have been doing better, having a 2-0 lead and then losing it. We haven't actually lost too much ground in the teams around us. So that's positive. But let's go and check in with the schedule page and see what's coming up. We've got a January transfer window. Just very briefly, if we go back to the home page, we can see that we haven't really got any budget to work with much. There's a little bit of wages to play about with. I don't anticipate us doing too much in this January transfer window, to be honest. I think where we're sitting in the league really demonstrates that maybe for the second half of the season, it's more important for us to have a settled squad that's consistent and working well together and building some of those relationships that we saw weren't quite there yet. So I think that's going to be our focus for the second half of the season. We've got a game in the FA Cup quite late for the third round in mid-January. I'm not quite sure what's gone on there. But that's going to happen in mid-January. We don't know who our opponents are going to be. But in the league, we've got a run of very tricky games. West Brom, Birmingham, Millwall, Cardiff, Blackburn. We're going to go through that period, go through the cup competition as well, hopefully get a decent side that we can advance to the next round for, go through the January transfer window, and I will be back next episode with AFC Wimbledon in the league at home. I'll update you on anything that did or didn't happen in the January window. We'll talk about the cup match as well and that run of form. But you can see we remain really inconsistent. The last 5 games, 2 losses, 2 draws, 1 win, not good enough. We have to hit January with a lot of potential attacking threat, let's say, and just see if we can get a few goals under our belt again and properly move forward into this second half of the season. The second half of the season, if I can finish in a playoff spot, I will be absolutely delighted with that. If we can get any higher than that, then that is a ridiculously good season for where we are. So come and join me for the next episode. Find out where we've been through January. Come and watch me play Wimbledon and see how we get on there. Until then, though, don't forget I'm on twitch.tv/the United City FM every weekday 3 till 5 p.m. Come and check me out over there. Come and have a chat over there. But until next time here, thank you for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join my United City community. The more the merrier. You can do that through Discord and Twitter and all sorts of things. All the links in the description below. Until next time though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.